the number of times you actually moved the camera, you could probably count the number of times on your two hands. So as a filmmaker, how do you make that decision in a film like this, when to move the camera and when to keep it stationary? How do you make that decision during the pre-production process?
Yeah, part of that was collaborative with my cinematographer. I mean, we knew from the beginning. I said, I want most of this to be fixed. And if we were going to move, it was not going to be a pan or handheld, but it was going to be on tracks, and there would still be a stationary kind of quality to it. So we visited every location. We kind of started blocking out, and there were a few moments, especially when they were in conversation, that sort of dictated for us that those were going to be the moments. Not always, but that there were going to be particular moments when we moved through the space with them. But it was a lot of conversation, and we knew it was going to be limited, so that if and when that happened, it would have to, there'd have to be a reason for it. Yeah.
I'm being told we're have to wrap things up, but if you ask a quick question, we might be able to get to it.
Okay, yeah.
First of all, I want to thank you for such a hauntingly beautiful film.
Oh, thank you.
As someone who grew up in Columbus, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, was there a particular building that stood out to you as your favorite, or meant the most to you?
Yeah, I have resisted this question at every turn. Partly because this film is really, like, even when I was kind of creating a list, or even, there are so many great buildings that you don't see in the film, and it was never going to be about my touring you through Columbus via me, but it was very much about this character Casey and the way she at that moment was responding to it. But I will say that, as a whole, and maybe I would still not want to isolate one building, because it is the collection of buildings there and what it represents in that town that is so moving to me. But I will also say that the buildings that probably meant the most to me are in the film. So yeah, and in every screening that we've had in America, there have been Columbus representations. So I want to really thank you guys. I feel like you guys are single-handedly bringing the box office up. So thank you guys.
Speaking of box office, let me just say before we wrap things up that a film like this is going to kind of live or die based on word of mouth. So since there's so many of you here, you have officially become part of the marketing team. So use every means of social media at your disposal to tell people this film is here for at least the rest of this week, this coming week, and maybe beyond that. But send people here, especially you people from Columbus. Tell the rest of your. I think we've had most of the population come through here in the last 2 days, so I think we're all right. But just in case.
Yeah.
And Kogonada, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us.